In the annals of Wild West history, few names are as iconic as Wild Bill Hickok. Known for his sharp shooting skills and outgoing personality, Hickok has been immortalized in countless books, movies, and TV shows. In this video, we'll dive into the life of Wild Bill Hickok and explore the events leading up to the infamous Hand of the Dead. James Butler Hickok, also known as Wild Bill, lived a varied and eventful life. Born in Troy Grove, Illinois, on May 27, 1837, to William Alonzo Hickok and Polly Butler Hickok, Bill had 4 brothers, 2 sisters, and his family were Christ-fearing Baptists, who expected him to go to church every Sunday and work for his family on the farm. However, Hickok's life took a different turn. He became a chariot driver, a soldier, a scout, a lawyer, a gunman and a gambler, among other things. As a young man, Hickok lived in a station along the Underground Railroad, where he and his family helped smuggle slaves out of the South. Remember to hit the like button, because it helps us a lot. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell to not miss the upcoming interesting video. Hickok's first encounter with hostile gunfire occurred when he and his father were pursued by law enforcement officers who suspected they were carrying more than hay in their wagons. This event sparked Hickok's fascination with guns, and he began to practice his marksmanship by targeting small wildlife around the farm. Despite his father's objections, the locals recognized Hickok's talent with guns, and he gained a reputation as an excellent marksman in his youth. At the age of 14, Wild Bill Hickok's father was killed for his anti-slavery beliefs. 3 years later, when Bill was 17 years old, he began working as a tow truck driver on the Illinois and Michigan canals. But a year later, he went to Kansas and took a job as a coach driver on the Santa Fe and Oregon Trail. It was in Kansas that he met Bill Cody, who would later become famous for the Buffalo Bill Wild West show. In 1855, railroad cars traveling along the trail were frequently threatened by bandits and Native Americans, so Bill quickly honed his marksmanship. During one such journey, the carriage broke down near Wetmore, Colorado. While Wild Bill slept under a nearby bush, the passengers remained in the vehicle, awaiting repairs. Suddenly, a disturbance awoke Bill, and one of the visitors lit a kerosene lantern to investigate. To their surprise, they find Bill being attacked by a cinnamon bear. Despite being mortally wounded, Bill managed to kill the bear with his 6-inch knife. The story of the bear attack showcases Wild Bill Hickok's bravery and fighting skills, which will go on to mark his reputation as a legendary figure of the Wild West. After surviving a near-fatal attack, he became a peace officer in Monticello, Kansas, in 1858. Hickok later worked for the Pony Express and Overland Express stations in Rock Creek, Nebraska, where he met David McCandless, who teased him about his feminine physique. In retaliation, Hickok began flirting with a woman named Sarah Shull, whom McCandless was interested in. On July 12, 1861, McCandless and his friends arrived at the station, supposedly to collect a debt. An argument broke out, leading to a shooting that left McCandless and 2 of his friends dead. Hickok has been cleared of all wrongdoing on the grounds of self-defense. As Hickok's fame grew, writers began to embellish his exploits. He joined the Confederate Army as a charioteer and scout on October 30, 1861, and earned the nickname Wild Bill while serving in the Union Army. Legend has it that he earned his nickname in Independence, Missouri, where he faced a mob intent on executing a bartender. Hickok fired 2 shots into the air, causing the crowd to disperse. One grateful woman is said to have heard shouts from the sidelines, "Good for you, Wild Bill." She may have mistook Hickok for someone else, but the name stuck. Wild Bill Hickok's life is full of adventures, some of which are quite scandalous. In July 1865, Hickok met a gambler named Dave Tutt, whom he lost at the gambling table. When Hickok was unable to pay his debt, Tutt took his pocket watch for protection. Hickok threatens to kill Tutt if he uses the watch too much. On July 21, 1865, the 2 men met in a public square and Tutt proudly wore the watch. Hickok shot and killed Tut, but he was acquitted of all charges. Hickok's time in the army brought him close to General George Custer, with whom he befriended and played poker. In 1867, Henry M. Stanley, a reporter for the New York Herald, tracked down Hickok and recorded his claim that he had single-handedly killed more than 100 people. Stanley reported this claim and Wild Bill became a national legend. Wild Bill ran for sheriff of Ellsworth County, Kansas in November 1867, but he lost. He returned to the army and was later stabbed in the leg during a skirmish with an Indian in eastern Colorado. After returning to Kansas, he became the sheriff of Hays City in 1869. In August of the same year, he fatally shot a man named Bill Mullery. A month later, he kills a thug named Strahan while he and several others are causing a commotion in a local pub. In July 1870, several members of the U.S. 7th Cavalry Force caught Hickok off guard at Drum's Saloon and began kicking him. Hickok shot and killed one of them, seriously injuring another. Following this incident, Bill resigned as sheriff and moved to Abilene, Kansas. In April 1871, Hickok was appointed city marshal in Abilene, with a salary of $150 per month plus a quarter of the total fines assessed against those he arrested. At first, he headed for his day-to-day business. During the Wild West era, John Wesley Hardin was considered one of the deadliest killers, and upon arriving in Abilene, he encountered Wild Bill Hickok. Although Hickok is known for his quick drawing skills and sharp shooting, he displays a pampering and parent-like attitude towards Hardin. The two drink together and visit brothels, and Hardin admires being seen with the notorious gunman. However, despite their close friendship, Hardin is cautious about crossing the line with Hickok, knowing it will only add to his notorious reputation. However, Hardin's behavior turns violent when he is awakened by snoring in the next room at the American House Hotel. Enraged, he shot through the wall with a gun. Knowing that Hickok wouldn't hesitate to pursue him, Hardin claims to have fled through the window to the roof in only his underwear. He spots Wild Bill approaching and jumps off the roof onto a haystack, where he hides for the rest of the night. Hardin eventually escapes on a stolen horse at dawn. Hardin's account of his interactions with Hickok was not corroborated by any records at the time and was heavily questioned. Furthermore, Hickok spends more time at the gambling table and with women than he does performing his sheriff duties. A young man in Abilene named Samuel Henry described Hickok's gambling habits as follows. His entire demeanor was like that of a hunted tiger, his restless eyes, anxiously looking around him in all directions, scrutinizing every stranger. When he plays cards, which he usually does in pubs, he sits in the corner of the room to prevent enemies from lurking behind him. According to a local newspaper, Wild Bill Hickok allowed Abilene to become a hub for gambling, fraud, prostitution and pimps. Even so, Hickok has important duties to perform as city marshal, and Bull's Head Saloon is causing him the most trouble. The tavern had a Texas Longhorn sign painted in a masculine style, much to the displeasure of many townspeople. They asked to change the anatomy of the animal. Hickok stood by with a shotgun as the marks were removed, and the necessary work was done on the painting. Thompson left town, and Co. sold his profits to the tavern, though he continued to gamble. Hickok and Co. began flirting with the same woman, and it was rumored that each was planning to kill the other. On October 5, 1871, trouble reached its zenith when many cowboys came to town, drinking and fighting. Only Deputy Mike Williams asked Hickok for help. Co. and his friends approached the Alamo Saloon, and a vicious dog attempted to bite Co., prompting him to shoot the dog. Hickok arrived a few minutes later to investigate the shots, and after hearing Co.'s explanation, he explained that guns were not allowed in the city. However, the situation escalated and Co. opened fire on Hickok. Hickok returned fire and shot Co. twice in the stomach. Hickok heard footsteps behind him and quickly turned around, opened fire again and accidentally killed Deputy Mike Williams. Co. died 3 days later. As a result of the incident, Abilene's city fathers dismissed Hickok as city marshal and told the Texans that no more herds could pass through their town. In the early 1870s, the East Coast flourished with tales of the Wild West in flashy novels and exaggerated newspapers. Hickok decided to capitalize on this trend by organizing a performance called the Bold Buffalo Hunt of the Plains. He invested thousands of dollars, gathered 6 buffaloes, 4 Comanches, 3 cowboys, a bear and a monkey, and took the train to Niagara Falls. However, the show was a disaster and Wild Bill only made a little over $100. He had to sell buffalo to a butcher to cover everyone's expenses. Wild Bill Hickok ran into financial difficulties after leaving the army, but his friend Buffalo Bill Cody offered him a way out. In 1873, Cody invited Hickok to participate in his stage play called Scouts of the Prairies. Wild Bill made a decent income and was able to satisfy his love of women and gambling, but as an actor he was not. Despite his early success as an actor, Hickok's heavy drinking affected his performance, and in March 1874 he said goodbye to Cody and returned to the West. There he married an elderly woman named Agnes Lake Thatcher of Cheyenne, Wyoming. The couple honeymooned in Cincinnati, but Hickok soon left for the gold mines of the West, promising to send money to his wife. But the truth is she will never see him again. By the time Hickok traveled with Charlie Utter's wagon train to Deadwood, South Dakota, his reputation as a gunman had preceded him. At first, he tried to live a respectable life, but his gambling and drinking habits led him to the taverns along the main street of the mining camp. On his way to Deadwood, he met Calamity Jane in Laramie, Wyoming, and the two immediately fell in love. However, their relationship caused controversy, and despite Jane's claim that they were a couple, Hickok didn't seem interested in the bet. He struggled to continue his gambling career due to his skills and declining health. He was often drunk and was repeatedly arrested for loitering. On August 1, 1876, Wild Bill Hickok was playing poker with Jack McCall and a few other men in a Deadwood tavern. McCall lost heavily and was clearly upset, while Hickok was proud of his winnings. Wild Bill generously returned him enough money to buy something to eat but advised him not to play again until he could cover his loss. The next afternoon, Wild Bill walked into Nuttall Man's saloon and found Charlie Rich sitting in his favorite chair. Despite some hesitation, he entered the game and sat with his back to the door and bar, which proved to be a fatal mistake. Jack McCall, who had been drinking heavily at the bar, saw Hickok enter and slowly walked to the corner where he was playing. McCall pulls out a double-action .45 pistol, shouting "Get it!" and shot Wild Bill Hickok in the back of the head, killing him instantly. The bullet pierced his right cheek and lodged in another player's left wrist. Hickok was drawing cards before being shot. He is holding a pair of eights and a pair of aces, which have since been called the Hand of the Dead. Hickok's friend Charlie Utter arranged his funeral and burial outside Deadwood, where a 10 by 10 foot fence surrounded by a 3-foot high fence with elaborate cast iron decorations to the top was built around his burial ground. A small American flag was planted in front of the headstone in honor of his service during the war. Hickok's death marked the end of an era in the American West. The story of Wild Bill Hickok continues to capture the imaginations of people around the world and serves as a reminder of the wild and colorful past of the Old West. Please like and share if you find the video content interesting and useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below, so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.